Alrighty, so it is time to dive into the offseason to gear up for 2026. And you may be asking yourselves, so you just had a run to the World Series in 2024. In 2025, you followed it up by having a really disappointing regular season, barely sneaking into the playoffs as the second wild card, and then losing 4-3 in extra innings to the Royals in that wild card game. What's your plan to get back to being a team that is going to make a deep playoff run? And to that I answer, I have no idea. So we just take a glance here at our mail and news. We've got ourselves a new budget. We saw that last time. Some guys that the minor leagues are retiring. None of that really matters. So we got to replace some of our minor league managers and hitting coaches and whatnot. And let's just take a look here at the top prospects list. So on the hitters, we have ourselves Ron Kennedy and Victor Luna, who probably is going to be full-time in the big leagues. I would say definitely full-time in the big, yeah, for sure, full-time in the big leagues this upcoming season. And then on the pitcher side of things, we have Patrick Pridgeon, who is definitely going to be taken off this list once he, because for next year, because he finished the season on the Major League roster. And then there's Ken Deppen, who was our first-round pick in 2024, who is, hasn't been the greatest of pitchers in his time in the minors, and also hasn't been the greatest of hitters, and I drafted him as a guy because I thought that his two-way game would be something that would be, really, look at this guy. He could be a insane defensive center fielder with a bat and a really good pitcher. So I figured might as well give him a shot, but he has not really done much. And now if we take a look at the salary arbitration screen, we've got Wyatt Mills, who's slotted to make 2.4 this year. Sam Delaplane is slotted to jump up to $5 million, which is not ideal. And TJ Friedel is a guy who we picked up at the trade deadline. He's slotted to get a $1 million bonus up to $9 million. After not really doing anything for us, doing all of his production when he was with Cincinnati. And I mean, we picked up this guy because he's been really good with Cincinnati. He's been a solid, three-war player, essentially, but he just didn't do that with us, unfortunately. Now, we could, we could just straight up, maybe try to trade him or just not bring him back and just not pay him that. Also, we have Kyle Lewis to figure out, who is the consistent two-war player for us. Every season he has a two-war, and he had his career-high 35 home runs for us this year. Had a walk rate similarly. And the guy is just very consistent for us. So I think we have how many years left on him? Yeah, so this upcoming season is the last year of Kyle Lewis, and we only have one more year of TJ Friedel, who we just traded for, obviously. And then we have Billy McKinney, who was hurt for a big chunk of last year and also did not play well in the games that he played, but he's another guy who we signed because he had been very good for the Blue Jays for them. So I figured, hey, we would just transfer that over to us. But no, of course not. Of course not. And we're definitely going to have to at least get rid of one of these guys, if not both Friedel and McKinney possibly, maybe even Kyle Lewis, because, Victor Luna. We have Victor Luna, who's in AAA right now. We put him down there at the end of the season, but he played 14 games in Seattle in 2025. I think they were all in September. He wasn't great in AAA, but he was really good in AA and A-ball the years before. And he's just very much ready to be in the big leagues. So, I mean, we just need to have him on the Major League roster just doing his thing. So, if he plays right field, which is where he's best suited to play probably, especially with that arm, it's the only place he can play right now, we would have to, trade at least one of these guys, if probably both of these corner outfielders. Probably two out of the three of Friedel, McKinney, and Lewis need to be traded or something. Possibly even Jonathan Clase is a guy we look to move, even though he is much younger with much more team control. I don't think I want to trade Clase, though, because he's just a guy we can have to be on the bench and be a fourth outfielder. But Sam Delaplane being slotted to make $5 million this year is something I'm really not trying to pay him. We went over, I was talking about, I think last season or at some point, I've mentioned a few times how we don't really have to pay relievers. Like, I don't want to pay him $5 million because we can obviously we're not probably going to get a 2-WAR with that exact production, but you can easily find very, very solid relievers for very, very cheap. You can even pick up solid relievers in free agency as guys on minor league deals, and we can just use the guys we already have. Like, if we get rid of Delaplane, we keep Mills, we've still got Fletcher, Garabitos, who came up, was really good, Jay Groom, didn't really do much. He didn't do well in his 8 innings in the major leagues, but he's the guy we have now. Juan Then, hopefully he bounces back. Patrick Pridgeon is a thing. Dean hopefully bounces back. LJ Newsome is obviously a thing we have. And then even down in AAA, we've got somebody like Aquino. Hopefully he bounces back. Vladimir Pinto, Zach Pop. Maybe Ding Bong Che bounces back. Probably not, though. Yeah, so we have plenty of guys we can call up and throw there, and even guys we can possibly sign as like minor league free agents if we don't, kind of, because a few of these guys are probably going to be like released or traded or something to like clear up AAA spots. But like I said, I don't want to pay Delaplane $5 million, so I think I'm going to try to trade him, and then possibly Friedel and maybe Lewis. I think it would be like Friedel and McKinney would be the guys that I want to trade, and then just keep Lewis for the last year of his deal, or the last year of his arbitration. And then we are obviously not going to be offering a qualifying offer to Ryder Jones, because we 1,000% would accept that, and we're also not bringing him back because he stunk. And as far as guys here who are minor league free agents, we offered Claudio Fanol, Simeon Woods-Richardson, and Jose Raldufo minor league extensions. We'll do the thing where if they don't want minor league deals, we could probably try to give them like a signing bonus or like a major league deal if they get promoted. But somebody like Glenolin Hill, I thought possibly I might bring him back, but he's not really anything for us. We could definitely get a better, if we wanted to, we could get a better like depth outfielder. So Glenolin Hill Jr. not really going to pan out for us. He's just going to walk. And then another guy I thought about is Milkar Perez here, however you say this guy's name. At one point, he was a pretty decent prospect, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he was a pretty decent prospect at some point, but he, hasn't really been the greatest. He had a decent year in AAA last year, but I mean, my scout doesn't really think highly of him. OSA doesn't really think highly of him. I mean, maybe I offer him, but also probably not. I am actually going to take Luke Hancock here off of our guaranteed minimum deals. We're going to waive and DFA him. I highly doubt Luke Hancock gets taken by anybody, but even if he does, it's not like we view him very highly as an organizational piece. There we go, baby! The Cy Young, Mike Soroka. Let's go! Mike Soroka, baby. That's what we wanted. This is what we were trying to get when we traded for Soroka, and bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves an ace. Led the league in ERA, had the most games started, a 5.5 WAR. Incredible, I'll take that. Cy Young season for Mike Soroka, and once again, the worst bats in the league prevent us from making a deep playoff run because we have horrible offense. So if we take a look at the awards around the league here, we've got the American League Gold Glove winners. Evan White gets first base yet again. It's Singer at pitcher, Realmuto at catcher, Schreier for the Astros at second, Bobby Witt Jr. at third, Lewis, Verdugo, Buxton, and Gallo of the Astros in right. In the National League, it's Gore, Kelly, Toglia, Guillorme once again, Matt Chapman, Alex Mooney, Alec Thomas, Bader, and Scott Hurst. Where the AL reliever of the year was actually Sam Delaplane, followed up by the Royals reliever in Brandon Markland. But Sam Delaplane gets the reliever of the year award. In the National League, it's Josh Kulanane? However you say this guy's name, he was the NL reliever of the year. In the American League, the Silver Sluggers were Adley Rutschman, Vladdy, Nick Gonzalez, Bregman, Wander Franco, Verdugo, Trout, Kirilloff, and Myers. In the National League, it was Gausman, Naylor, Prado, Lux, Arenado, Tatis Jr., Mitchell, Bellinger, and Betts. Whereas the Rookie of the Year in the American League was this guy from the Angels, Eric Webb. The National League was Jack O'Dowd of the Phillies. Matheny won the AL Manager of the Year, while the NL Manager of the Year was Dave Roberts of the World Series winning Dodgers. Soroka, we know, won the AL Cy Young. Sandy Alcantara won the NL Cy Young, followed by his teammate, and Pablo Lopez was in second place. And the American League MVP was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We could have seen that coming. And then the National League MVP was Cody Bellinger, who has just, he's been insane this whole time. He has, how many frickin' MVPs does this guy have? He has 4 MVPs. I mean, Cody Bellinger is going to be a Hall of Famer. Alrighty, so arbitration has now passed. Friedel gets $9 million, Lewis gets 6.6, Delaplane gets 6.8, and Wyatt Mills gets 2.75. And we definitely don't have the most amount of money to spend here in free agency. Only 6.3 for free agents, 17.4 for extensions. And we don't really have too much room to move around with our budgets here. 18 million scouting. I probably could bump that down to like 15 million if I really wanted to, but I don't really want to. And then for the player development here, draft and international amateur. Alright, so we've got some more spending money now. That should be fine. But I do also want to try to get rid of some of these guys that we're paying that I don't want to be paying, like Sam Delaplane, who, like I said, made a bunch of money because he won AL Reliever of the Year, and I would like to see what we could get for him. First, let's take a look what's in free agency. I already had this on zero demand, and just looking at this right off the bat, there's this Jose De Coca guy here who throws 96 to 98. He's a ground baller. We're going to throw a minor league offer to this guy just because why not? We're also going to throw an offer on this 24-year-old, like, depth outfielder just to probably have him up AAA this year because he was really, really freaking good in AA with Trenton this year. So might as well throw him on there, and he can throw him an offer, and he can be on our AAA team this year. All right, so if we sort by infielders here, we're not going to be able to get any of these top 3 guys in Moncada, Hira, and Senzel, but these guys might possibly be somebody we could go after, like maybe... He's more of a first baseman. Also, he hasn't really... Well, he's had a couple times in the big leagues. I mean, we could try to take a chance on somebody like Jake Berger, but once again, he's more of a first baseman. He can't really play third for us. There's also somebody like Xander Bogaerts, who we were thinking about trading for at the deadline, and I would not mind moving him to third base at all. I feel like he could be a pretty solid third baseman. I would definitely want to see improved numbers. I would want to see more like these 2 seasons than this season. So knowing my luck, I would give him a contract and he would just immediately be like, "Ah, yeah, I'm gonna be garbage for you all year long." So really only Bogaerts is a guy who I'm kind of looking at here. This Guillorme guy could possibly be something just because he would be insane to have defensively. Like, if we had this guy at second base paired with Marte, we would have, like, an insane infield up the middle. And this guy's not the worst hitter. He's not great. But, I mean, he walks a decent amount. He doesn't strike out. He's a high avoid K guy. I mean, I'm not opposed to that either, playing him at second base. Now, the thing about this Guillorme guy is, obviously, we just saw that he just won another Gold Glove. Yeah, he's won a Gold Glove a bunch of straight seasons. 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. He's been the Gold Glove in the National League at second base. Between the Mets and the Marlins, and he's been a very productive player, except for last year, where it seems like he was entirely just a defensive player. I'm not opposed to signing him, though. He likes this, 1 year at 5.7, and then a team option for 6.5. I'm going to offer him that, and see if he accepts. So I'm just looking at the trade block here, and the, is this a Mets? Yeah, the Mets are currently a team that's way over budget. So basically their entire team, you see all these New York names here? These are all Mets players. A couple of them are Yankees, but like Severino's on Mets now. I guess Profar's a Yankee. So I guess maybe it is a combination. But there's a lot of Mets on here. I looked. They have like no money right now. They're way over budget. They have a bunch of cash not available. So the Mets have, like, their entire roster, essentially. Or we could even try to pick up somebody, like a bat for the Mets, like Dominic Smith here, who is on a 19.2 and the 19.2, which, you know, would be a decent chunk of change that we're picking up here, but Also, very much what we're looking for here is Dominic Smith he would probably be a DH for us, as I would just, not play Bush at DH anymore. But very much a guy who could help us out here. So let's see if we could possibly swing a trade for a guy like Dominic Smith. Now, this is something I would not mind at all. Our money would drop by quite a lot if we pick up Dominic Smith here, but I'm also still trying to trade TJ Friedel, who I would even wouldn't like. If I trade TJ Friedel, I wouldn't even be opposed to just dumping him, or even McKinney. But I still do want to swing a couple trades here, but if we trade Delaplane, JP Crawford, Billy McKinney, who we want to get rid of, and Austin Martin, who is a 26-year-old AAA guy who's probably never going to be anything for us in the big leagues. But if we trade these four guys, they like that. They will give us Dominic Smith. We will have Dominic Smith for this upcoming season and one more season after that at 19.2, which I feel like we could probably maneuver our budget a bit to afford that. And like I said, he is definitely a guy who could help us out. He did a lot of home runs. He walks a lot, doesn't strike out too often. We definitely don't want a season like 2024 happening, but even then, still a productive season. I'm going to do this. Dominic Smith, we're trading for him. He's coming on down to Seattle. Now, here's something we're going to be doing with the Cardinals to get Friedel off our roster. So Friedel here is going to go back to the NL Central with the Cardinals. We are going to retain 20% of what is left of his deal this year. That's $1.8 million. The Cardinals will be paying the rest of that just so they can remain. Their budget does not. What am I trying to say? Just so they're able to not be under budget or over budget. And then Patrick Bailey is just thrown in there just to make the deal work. We get this Ben Tompkins guy, who is a 24-year-old starter. Or right now they have him listed as a reliever, but he probably could be a decent starter. He had a pretty good years. He's had some pretty good A-ball years with or rookie and A-ball years, and now they have him in the big leagues already, and he was pretty okay actually, or pretty solid in 11 innings in 2025. But we're gonna acquire this Ben Tompkins guy and give them Friedel, and that gets him off our roster, and we get this young pitcher. Alrighty, so we're just trying to open up some spots here in AAA and just in the minors in general. So Zach Pop here is a guy who obviously he's probably a pretty decent reliever. Whenever we call him up, they have him as a right-handed specialist, which I hate, and It makes sense because he's not very good against lefties. So we're going to get rid of him, and then also Jordan Thompson here, who I believe was a guy we even drafted as like a shortstop. But he was also a pitcher. He hasn't been great as either. And we're just going to, not bring him back. We're actually going to, get rid of him. He's 23. We're getting rid of him, and we're going to pick up Daniel Susac here from the D-backs organization, a switch-hitting catcher who is going to be our AAA catcher along with Luke Hancock this season because we don't have Patrick Bailey anymore. And Juan Corneal is going to also be picked up in this deal to be a middle infielder, probably in either AA or AAA, depending on where I feel he fits best. But these are the two guys we're picking up as we get rid of Pop and Jordan Thompson. So I just offered a contract to O'Neal Cruz here, just as sort of like a flyer here. He is a guy who has never really gotten any time in the big leagues with Jacksonville, the formerly known as the Pittsburgh Pirates, now Jacksonville Herons. Has barely gotten any time up in the big leagues. And when he's in the minors, he is pretty decent. He's a pretty decent bat. Didn't look like he played much last year. Might have been injured. Doesn't look like it. Maybe he just didn't really play for whatever reason. For whatever reason, he did not play much last year. And we're going to offer him a contract, well, we already did. And as you can see here, he can only play shortstop. But I felt like these are ratings that he could be a pretty solid third baseman. So we're going to offer him that contract, and he might be our third baseman this year. We're going to play him there in spring training and just see how we feel as him at third, and then having Moss and Rocchio as the backup infielders again. Or one of them in AAA, one of them backup infielder, while McNeil is just sort of on the team. Alrighty, so Luis Guillorme says that he does not like the salary, which is not good. Yeah, he doesn't want 2 years unless I give him more money, which I really don't want to do. So we're going to have to find a different guy to play second base for us this season, along with O'Neal Cruz. And Xander Bogaerts is still here. He's probably more of a third baseman at this point in his career, but I mean, he could play second base. That's not out of the question, so we could go after Bogaerts. And yeah, he has been just declining at shortstop for quite a while now. He somehow was okay in 2023, but he just hasn't been a great defensive player anymore in his career. All right, so Bogaerts would accept a one-year deal. I had to bump this up a little bit here because he did not want a one-year deal unless I bumped it up. So I think I'm going to offer Xander Bogaerts just a one-year deal here, see if he could be a fill-in second baseman for us. All right, so today is the Rule 5 draft. We have 2 spots open on our 40-man here, but we also... Can I throw Perez on the IL right now? Yeah, no, he cannot be thrown on the IL right now. So we do have a couple guys who wouldn't mind getting off here, like Ding Bong Che. I would not mind getting him off the 40-man. Maybe Jay Groom if we really needed to. Jeff McNeil, possibly. I don't really know. Austin Shenton. So we have a couple guys here we could remove of the 40-man if we really wanted to make room. And you know what? I just can't. I cannot have Jeff McNeil on the roster this year. It's going to be the last year of his contract. He can't play defense. He can't hit. $18 million, we're going to have to pay him that anyways. The plan was just pay him that anyways, just have him on the roster. But I mean, we might as well open up his spot on the roster because he's going to refuse a assignment to AAA. So we're just going to cut him. Jeff McNeil, we are cutting Jeff McNeil. Alrighty, $18 million has been added to the player expenses as Jeff McNeil has been cut. We want to add Suzak here. He is our third catcher, so I think we're going to get him on the... Let's see who's the top here in the Rule 5 draft. All right, so I'm not seeing any of our guys here on, like, the first page of high potential players. That's good. Jack Walker here, so he's possibly somebody we might have to throw in the 40-man. He's really the only one that I'm seeing, though. And then if we go to overall... once again, not really seeing anybody. Alright, so we're gonna add Susak here, and then we're also going to add Jack Walker to our 40-man, and then I'm thinking the rest of these guys we're just gonna leave unprotected. Maybe Roldufo? Yeah, Roldufo's probably a guy we want to protect. Alright, Rule 5 draft time. We're not gonna be getting anybody. I already looked through these guys. Nobody is interesting to me, so let's just sim through here. Are any of our guys going to be drafted? No! Nobody in our team got taken. These are the guys that did get taken. Nobody who I was really looking at. Drew Ellis was really the only, like, MLB quality infielder here, and I just didn't feel like he would be better than getting, like, Bogaerts or O'Neal Cruz. Alrighty, so O'Neal Cruz has signed his contract that we offered him. It's just a one-year deal. 1 year, $2.4 million. We're going to see if he's going to be somebody who can do something for us. And we do actually need to make room on the 40-man for him. So I'm thinking either probably Shenton. Yeah, we're gonna waive and DFA Shenton to make room for O'Neal Cruz. And we've got him. Xander Bogaerts is now a member of the Seattle Mariners. Veteran Xander Bogaerts, Jerry Remy voice. I can't do a Jerry Remy voice. I'm not even going to pretend. But Xander Bogaerts is going to be our second baseman this season, at least to start. And hopefully he's going to be pretty solid for us. But we are going to waive and DFA Ding Bong Che to make room on the 40-man for Bogaerts. And here are the Hall of Fame results. Albert Pujols, Justin Verlander, Miguel Cabrera all making their first year, all with 95+ percentage. And then Manny Ramirez makes it finally in his 10th year of eligibility with exactly 75% to get in. CC is at 60%. Suzuki, Ichiro is still not in there for whatever reason. Greinke in his first year got 53%. Cano got 46%. And then you have the rest of the bunch down here. But Pujols, Verlander, Cabrera, and Manny Ramirez all make the Hall of Fame in 2026. And now we get a message from Luis Guillorme saying he's willing to revisit talks. Let's just see what he wants. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that because we can't even afford that anyways. But yeah, so this is where we have just a small amount of money this season. To be spending, not that we really need to be going out and spending much money here. It's going to be tough to maneuver around at the trade deadline if we are buyers of the deadline, which I hope we are. But like I said, we've got our guys coming into their large money portion of their deals here. We got Smith for this year and next. This is obviously a steal for Jared Kelnick. We got Soroka. We got Logan Gilbert, Evan White, Justin Dunn, and then and then Lewis is going to come off the books at the end of the year. So will Bogarts. So yeah, there's definitely we're not going to be like like a poverty franchise here, not being able to spend any money in free agency and whatnot in the upcoming offseason. But I think we're geared to be a pretty decent team this year. I say that every year, but I mean, I would hope that these acquisitions are going to help. Bogart's going to play second. Cruz is going to at least try to be our third baseman. And Victor Luna should at least help a little bit as our full-time right fielder this year. I'm hoping the home run power develops a bit this season, because so far throughout his minor league career, it has not. But even if he's just like a really fast doubles hitter who gets on base a ton, I mean, I'll take that any day. And then obviously Brian Perez is not going to be on the rotation this year because he is out with a torn UCL, unfortunately. Also, why is it showing as OSA all the time? And then we should still have a pretty solid bullpen with Mills, Fletcher, and Garabitos on the back end, with also some new guys hoping to have bounce-back years, or some guys having bounce-back years, and then some new guys in who are going to hopefully be pretty good for us. Somebody like Mason Bryant, who was the reliever of the year in Tacoma last year, and I'm hoping that he's going to be able to come up and in more than 7 innings be much more productive than he was in his little stint that he had in 2025. So yeah, 2026... every year, this is our year, baby. This is the Seattle Mariners' year, baby!